Well, welcome in everyone. Today I'm going to be shipping out my weekend orders. So thanks for jumping in and hanging with me this morning. Actually, I say this morning; it's actually afternoon. I'm typically shipping in the morning, but we're going this afternoon. I'm late getting around here, but for those of you that may be popping in either on Facebook or on YouTube, make sure you can hear me. If you'll let me know the mic's working well, we'll get going here shortly. One second here as I'm figuring out things real quick. It's been a while since I've done this. There we go. All right, I got my chat pulled up. If you guys have any questions or comments whatsoever, if you just want to comment and say hi, I'm here, hanging out. That's great. If you have questions over reselling, shipping, anything related to those things, or other questions too, here to help. It's been a while since I've been live. Actually, time has been of the essence, and I've just gotten some more time. So I thought, why not go live today and show you all the things I'm shipping out. So I had, I believe, 22 orders on across 3 platforms this weekend. I've got 4 more today. So feeling pretty good so far on the day. Got some sales generating and trying some new things in my store as well. So excited about that. If you can hear me, would you let me know this mic is clear? I'm testing out a new mic today, and I just want to make sure it sounds good. And also let me know whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube. Love to see where you're coming from. Big John, what's going on? How am I sounding, Big John? It says tech reviews, so you can review my mic and let me know that it sounds crystal clear. And I just now saw this. It's showing me that you're on YouTube, so I can see that here. So thanks for jumping in, John. I appreciate that. Sounds great. Okay. Let's get this up. And we'll go back. Gosh, it's been such a long time since I've done this. Chemo, what's going on? Big John and Chemo here in the live. We got both on YouTube. Okay, thanks for jumping in. All right, well, I'm going to just go ahead and get started with shipping, and I'll maybe explain a change that I did actually this past weekend. In years of doing things a certain way on eBay, I've since changed it up, just looking for something different, I guess. So got all my fees and everything in, so we're ready to roll. Purple Haze. That's hilarious. Yeah, I haven't heard that one before. Haven't heard that one before for sure. Isaac Hayes, Purple Haze. All right, so I've got 1 Depop, 3 Poshmark, and the rest on eBay. eBay's been popping for me today. Hopefully you guys can see this all right. I'll kind of point it down a little bit. I'll have to play with the camera angles because this isn't the greatest, but for right now it'll do. So we're gonna go ahead and ship out Depop. So the first Depop order I had, see if I can do this without crashing the pile here. Man, I don't make sales much on Depop, and I ran a 5% off sale, and I also use Nifty to send out offers to people who like items. And I'm sending out 10% offers. So I did a 5% sale, 10% off of that. So obviously around 15%. These I had at 35. This person made an offer for like 18. I got them up to 22 on these pair of Dockers. I typically get more than that, but I was just ready to get a sale going and start making some sales for the weekend. I don't know about you all, but I've noticed it picking up, but I'm also I've definitely noticed it picking up and fall stuff starting to move. But I've just gotten to where I'm countering less and just accepting decent offers. I don't want to lose a sale, and there's a lot of competition out there. So we're going to go ahead and ship out this pair of Dockers pants that I sold for 22. something I would have paid like $6 for. So not great profit, but profit nonetheless. My only Depop going out. So let's go ahead and get it out. Can you all hear me all right? I just want to make sure you can hear me fine. I'm testing out this new mic, and I've used it for other stuff, but I haven't done it live before. So just want to make sure you all can hear me all right. I didn't think about this. My printer is right here next to my computer. So I'll have to figure out a new placement for that. So for those popping in, I'll just go ahead and share like what that was my only Depop and it's gone. So I've been a top rated seller on eBay for Big John. I see your question. I'll get to it in just a second. Actually, I'll just answer it right now. Shoe sales have been actually pretty decent. I've got, I think, 3 pairs of shoes out of my 4 sales today. I've got 2 or 3 pairs of shoes that I'll ship out here in a sec. Mercari is a place where I do sell shoes, but Mercari has been trash for me lately. Thank you, Allison. I appreciate that. 3 people on YouTube right now. Let's go out there and see if am I showing up on Facebook? Let's just make sure. Maybe I'm not. Okay, it says I'm live. Yes, shoe sales have been decent for me. Like I said, I've got probably 3 or 4 pairs that I'm gonna ship out. But Mercari again has been not great. So much so Mercari's gone in spurts. I've thought about just getting rid of it. It's really hard to do because when you're using Nifty to cross list your items in like literally 2 clicks, it's so easy just to get it over there. But at some point, I don't know what it's going to take for me to pull the trigger. I've pulled the trigger on them before and came back. And so I'll have to see. Right now, eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Depop, Amazon, and I dabble with Facebook Marketplace, but not really much there. All right, let's jump over to Poshmark. I was starting to say that. Did I ship this out? Where'd it go? Yeah, okay. I was starting to tell you about a big change that I've made recently, and as I ship out this Stitch. Stitch is the brand, and it's got a nice little Razorback logo on the front. This really cool camo pattern. I sold it for $20 on Poshmark, so decent sale, about what you want, about what I want for a typical like polo, golf polo that is, not like a hugely great brand. So yeah, I was saying earlier, I've been a top rated seller for years now, and I've always tried to get that top rated plus status where I save on my fees. And in order to do that, you have to do 30-day returns. You have to do free shipping. This weekend, I just said enough. I'm going to test it out. I turned off free shipping. Sorry, not free shipping, free returns. I turned off free returns. So up until now, the buyer has been able to ship it back to me, a return, and get free shipping on the return back. I just finally switched it over to buyer pays shipping, and we'll see how that goes. I've got like 7 pending returns right now, and I'm thinking like, man, all these returns that I have, if I'm paying for that, it's cutting close to the amount that I'm saving on fees that eBay gives you as a discount. So I might as well just think about not doing this. So we're going to test it out and see how I do, maybe for a month or so, and see what I think about that. What about you all, those that are watching? You top rated seller? Do you do free returns? Do you accept returns at all? I said I had 3 Poshmark orders, but I actually had 2. That was the first one. Here's the second. You guys know this brand, right? There it is. That's what you want to find right there on clothing. This is a high-end brand. I've got a former neighbor. He doesn't live near me anymore, but he still reaches out from time to time, and I sell stuff for him, and he's got a lot of Burberry stuff. And so I've got some active listings of like Burberry jeans and shirts of his that I'm selling on 50% commission. So I sold this this gift box. It's just a box. There's nothing else in it but little Burberry wrap. Pretty cool. This was even ripped, obviously, from opening it. Sorry, I don't know if I hit the mic there. Chemo says buyer pays. Okay. Yeah, and honestly, I don't know if people really look much, as long as returns are accepted. I think, people are typically okay with it. Most people don't do free returns. So I got this Burberry box I sold for $15. I had a couple of these. The first one I sold for like 25 to 30, but the inside wrapping wasn't ripped. This one is ripped, so I accepted much less offer. And it's Poshmark, so I get to use my free priority mail boxes, which this will fit in perfectly, I believe. Oh, and there was, not only was that wrap inside rip, but it had a little bit of a rip right here in the corner. So a couple of things to be mindful of when I was selling this. The great thing about Poshmark, no returns. It's not coming back to me. Yeah, so switched everything over to buyer pays, and I think I'll like that better. Yes, I won't get that 10% discount on my eBay selling fees, but I'll also save money on the return shipping labels. And I would guess if someone has to pay to ship it back, they're going to think twice about submitting a return. So I may cut down on my returns as well. All right, like a glove. How's everyone doing today? Haven't asked you all how you're doing. How was your weekend? Any big sales you want to report? Any cool finds from thrifting, or did you just do something fun that you want to talk about? Trying to think what our weekend. My wife's parents came up, and so we went out to eat with them. We've got a 2.5-year-old daughter, so we got a lot of grandparents that want time with her. So they came up, we had fun. They treated us to dinner. And then last night, my daughter's daycare had a oh man, look at that. It's like sticking out just a little bit on the edge. So I'll have to finagle this a little bit. My daughter's daycare had like a back to school bash, and they had like a bouncy house and a bunch of like play stuff. So we took her up there to do that. I have a feeling some may just be borrowing our items. Yeah, and that's what I've thought about too, especially like more expensive stuff. When I think about like blazers, I've got a couple blazers going out, maybe one blazer going out. You need a blazer or a suit jacket for an event. You don't want to pay $50 for one to keep. You just want to use it for one time. I definitely know that probably happens more than we think. And so someone can still return it and, just pay the return shipping of like $10, $12. But yeah, I'm with you on that. Let's slip this into a poly mailer just to make sure it's waterproof, especially on a paper good. I don't want it getting wet. I don't know, those that follow me on Facebook, I don't know if you saw, I posted about this, so you may have seen it already, but I had a buyer reach out. They bought a brand new item for $60 something, and they said basically that it smelled like smoke. And I'm like, well, I don't smoke. This isn't a smoke home, and I bought it new with tags, and it's been nowhere else except for here in that store. So I basically just the buyer, was wanting to return it. I'm guessing what happened is they didn't like it, and so they were looking for a reason to return it. So I just put in the message, the case where the buyer said they want to return it. I just said, buyers trying, this was a new with tags item, did not smell like smoke. buyers trying to take advantage of the situation. And within a few hours, they denied the claim, denied the buyer's request. So I wasn't sure. I've never had that happen on Posh. I wasn't sure what they were going to say with that. And I was very pleasantly surprised that they did not let him take advantage of that. Because it's not something you can prove. You can't prove that something smells like smoke. You can prove a flaw. You can prove the item is what the buyer, for the most part, you can prove the item is what the, seller should have sold. But that was a win for me this weekend. So basically, I'm just trying to get this in here. So I needed a little extra room on this box, and you can put a box inside a box to get the room you need. So kind of fancy there. See the box in the box? I'm just going to tape this up and call it good. Spending way too much time on this one. Sorry, that's loud. I've used this strategy, the box in a box, for many things, and it's very handy. Tennis rackets, board games, obviously, you name it, you can put it in there if it's that dimension. All right, let's get this out and let's get on the eBay orders. Going to Tulsa, Oklahoma, not too far away. Gonna have to rearrange this over here. All right, there we go. Tulsa, Oklahoma. All right. Okay, Poshmark is done. Now it's on to, see, I think I've got 18 or 19 eBays to ship out. Had a pretty decent weekend. I can't complain. I think we're still in that kind of back to school. The university here in my town just started today. So I know there are other schools around the nation that are just starting, even though schools for us started about a week ago. So I know people are still in that kind of back to school rhythm. School supplies, getting into this new routine after coming out of the summer. So I suspect that from here it will pick up a little bit. And then obviously when September hits, maybe not so obviously, but when September hits, that's when more and more buyers come in for the fall items. I've seen I've got some sweaters and flannels going out. I've got some winter, like warmer weather, colder weather items going out. But that's when it'll start to change even more so. All right, so eBay. Had a couple of bundle orders this weekend, which is not typical. We're going to start off with this vintage Eddie Bauer. You can see that tag, like heavy flannel. Nice little fall pattern to segue into this first item. Went for a best offer of $17, which 17 to low 20s is kind of typical for that. Not a huge Eddie fan. I don't know about you all. Not a huge Eddie fan. I used to pick it up a lot more, but pretty much I'm only looking for, new with tags changes anything, but for used items, I'm only looking for like vintage, like heavier flannels or corduroy. Um, maybe some of their jackets, but that's about it. Pretty picky when it comes to Eddie. If you're just jumping in, thanks for coming and hanging with me while I ship out these orders. And if you're new to the channel, let me know where you're watching from. It's always fun to kind of get a grasp on where I'm pinging out there. This one going really close to Columbia, Missouri. I mean, that's probably 2-3 hour drive from me. All right, next up was one of the bundles I was alluding to. Before I get to that, Chemo's got some comments in here. Had another seller buy a new with tag item and returned it because they said it smelled like perfume and they were allergic. Item didn't even have a scent. They knew how to get out of the shipping. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, it happens. I hate that. And that's why I recommend, well, with perfume, it's a different story. But with clothing, I just recommend people to put returns on because they can get out of it either way. Alice in Wisconsin. Cool. If you don't know, I'm in, if you're new to me, I'm in Fayetteville, Arkansas. So the northwest corner, home of the Razorbacks. Arkansas Razorbacks. Allison, thanks for jumping in and saying hello. All right, I alluded to a bundle. Eric, what's going on? What are we shipping? We got a bunch of everything. We got pants, shirts, shoes. We've got some fun little plushies here. I'll show that in a second. We've got a nice blazer. This blazer was my highest sale of the weekend. So, yeah, we're rolling. I've already shipped out Poshmark and Depop. Now we're on eBay. All right, so JCPenney's does like a $5 sale to clear out like old season stuff. And they put a bunch of stuff on sale for $5. So I went and bought 50, 60 items, and I bought probably 8 of these like Shaquille O'Neal dress pants. It says they retail for $150, but I mean, I don't know how much they sell for in the store. I doubt it's $150. But I paid $5 for each of these, and I had a buyer come in and snatch a couple of them up for $34 a piece. So I love those flips. Love those flips. And this person went in and bought 2 pairs, paid shipping on both of them. So full price shipping on both. And when that happens, he hasn't said anything to me. And this is going to Oregon. But when that happens, I have a little note in the description of each of my items that I will combine shipping on multiple orders. So whether they ask or not, I just go ahead and refund them a portion of their shipping back. So I'll do that after just so I don't forget. Refund a portion of their shipping back as a way of saying thanks for buying a bundle. So $68 on these, and I had $10 invested. And I still got probably 5 or 6 pairs of these. Had a brand new sealed VHS player. I listed it and used all 24 photos. Buyer said it doesn't play discs. Waiting on the return if it happens. I hope it doesn't happen. That's a bummer. I mean, yeah. You don't know about people out there nowadays. I mean, people will just, I don't know, so unpredictable. All right, so I wish there was a better way that eBay could handle a bundle like this where they could just go ahead and automatically give a discount in the store without me having to go refund. But as of right now, I don't know any other way to do this. So I'm just going to purchase the label. And then, so I've got it at $17.90 shipping. I'm going to refund $7.90 to make shipping a total of $10. Thank you, Todd, for your order of dress pants. All right. So let's do that before I forget. One sec here. All right. 790. Mind shipping discount. And it's going to give me a portion of that 790 back in a fee credit. So it's going to, eBay is going to give me 90 cents back. So I'll go ahead and update that in my spreadsheet as well. Shameless plug, if you're looking for a spreadsheet and you don't have one, I've got one for sale linked in my bio. So you can go to my channel wherever you're watching from and you should be able to find it. But also send me a message or comment on this video if you're interested in that spreadsheet. You can track many things from inventory, sales, and profit to stores, categories, brands, mileage, business expenses, consignment, a bunch of stuff, platforms. Chemo, have a good one. Thanks so much for jumping in and saying hello. Got to go chop up a brisket. Why'd you have to say that? Now I'm hungry. I know where I'm going for dinner tonight. We're going to Chemo's to get brisket. Man, so good. All right, next up on eBay, a pair of G-Star jeans. I mentioned earlier that I am accepting offers on pretty much most decent offers. I'm just not countering as much. Just my prices are a little higher, and I'm just wanting to get sales rolling in the door. I had these for 45, on sale for 42. Buyer made an offer for 30. I just took it. I thought about countering 35, and I thought one thing that I typically am thinking when I get an offer is, if they don't come back, so if I lose the sale, will I regret it? And if the answer is yes, I would be somewhat disappointed that I didn't accept it. Then I just go ahead and accept it. So G-Star jeans, you can't really see them in here, but I don't find that brand very often. And I just got to figure, like, I paid $7-8 for those. I'm selling them for 30 pretty quickly. It's a good day. So I don't keep track of how much I paid for each individual item anymore. But looking at my spreadsheet, let's just say I paid $8. That leaves me with a profit of, let's see here, $15.04, and sold those. It took 3 months to sell, but it may have just been getting through the summer. I got all YouTube people watching, no Facebook. I'll have to make sure that it went out on Facebook. All right, one of my favorite sales of the weekend. You may have seen my Facebook post on this. Sold this brand new Cooperstown collection, majestic Texas Rangers. Like, this color blue is like the powder blue. It's more of a throwback retro color, and I'm sure that's why this sold for the price it did. This is a retired player, Mike Napoli. I mean, he's known, but he's not like, I don't know if I would call him a superstar per se, but I listed it. It got a lot of interest. It's going to Fort Worth, Texas, of course, and I sold it for $75.97, and it took 32 days to sell. I posted a video on this. I had a lot of people say, that's not going to sell. I would pass on that. You're only going to get 20 or 30 bucks. And sold for $75. So love the sale. I think I paid $8.99 for this. It's a sweet jersey too. I mean, it's really sweet. And it was new with tags. I typically am very cautious when I pick up jerseys just because players switch teams all the time. As soon as a player gets traded or switches teams, the jerseys on the that former team's jersey typically starts to tank, and so but he's retired. And he's not going to be traded anymore. He's not going anywhere because he's done, and it's new with tags. I knew someone would pay at least $30 for it, and it went for twice that. Eric, what's going on in your neck of the woods over there? Allison, how are your sales going? How was your weekend selling, and where do you sell? Okay, next one was another bundle. Bought a bunch of these Polo Ralph Lauren brand new sweaters, just your typical like quarter zip pullover. Got the pony on the front, and a buyer came in and snatched up 2 of these. So it's going to St. Petersburg, Florida. And again, a lot of bundle sales. They don't happen that often. I sold them for a combined $90 and change. One of them did have like a small imperfection on it, so I took a best offer of 40 on that one and 50 on the other. I had to think twice about this because I'm like, how is shipping only $6.82 for a 3-pound package? But it is what it is. Just making sure that this is the same buyer before I slap this on there. Yeah, so these weren't high profit margins on these. I think I paid like $22 for each of these, and they sold for an average of 45. Again, I'm making $10 to $15 a piece. Not great, but I'm still making money. I'm getting a little more selective on retail arbitrage just because I don't want to invest. Typically, it takes a lot more money to get into retail arbitrage, and I don't want to spend a whole lot and tie up all that cash. So I'm getting more selective there. All right, so same as the last guy, I'm going to go in and send a refund to this buyer. Neither of these buyers asked for a refund to combine shipping, which, if I paid for 2 items online and paid shipping for both, knowing the person's going to combine shipping, I would just go ahead and say, hey, before I bought the items, can you combine shipping or can we work out a deal? But it just surprises me. This is more common that people do not ask for a partial refund or they don't ask for a combined shipping discount. And I don't understand why not. Like, worst case is the person says no and you go on and pay like you were going to. Got to do some math calculations here. Okay, so I think I made, if I subtract 22, I'm looking at $23 and change on one. And on the one that had the blemish that I sold for less, I made 16 bucks, 17 bucks. So not bad. 16 and 22, an average of like 18 to $19 a piece. Yeah, I'll take it. Still got several of those left in the store. Just eBay for now. There was some action. I'm not mad. All right. These were just some pants. I've never really heard this brand, Hybrid. I bought to flip on Amazon because I was ungated going to Denver, Colorado, and found a huge flaw on the back of a leg, like a discoloration. So I took them off Amazon and basically just priced them pretty cheap. They sold for like $16 and change. I paid $2 for them, so still made some good money for $2 spent, but not a known brand that I know of. These are women's pants. So $10 and change profit on that $2 spent. Going to Denver, Colorado, my old stomping grounds. Miss that place. Miss that place like crazy. Check out this Polo Ralph Lauren, another retail arbitrage, brand new hoodie, $148 retail, went for 70 bucks. And it's got like the paint splatter all over it. I had 3 of these, and this is the last one to go. So this was actually the least amount that I got for this too. The others went for higher amounts than this, but it's gone and I got my money back. Going to Lakeland, Florida. Allison, if you're interested in cross-listing your items, let me know. The service that I use, Nifty, you can literally import all of your eBay listings. And I don't know how many listings you have, but you can import them if you haven't heard about it. Import them really quickly, and then a few clicks, and you can get them over to Poshmark, Mercari, Depop. Trying to think I think those are the main 3 on there. So if you're interested in that, let me know. This was my fastest flip of the weekend. I literally listed this on Thursday or Friday. It sold 2 days later. It's a vintage, and I can't show you the tag on this, but vintage Esprit heavy wool sweater, like chunky knit, women's small. So this went, I priced it at $29. Buyer came and made an offer for $24, and that was accepted immediately. This was an item I picked up at the Goodwill bins. I would have paid a couple of bucks for it. And then I just knew with it being vintage and like the heavy, chunky knit that it was going to go, and it did pretty quickly. Yeah, and that Nifty trial that I was talking about, I can get you a free week trial where you can test out the software before you commit to paying for anything, paying for a service. And then if you do, if you are interested, you can save. I can get you 15% off your first month. All right. Moving right along. I think Eric was asking about shoes. Here's my first pair of shoes going out. You guys know this brand right there. Olakai. These were almost brand new. I mean, there's hardly any wear on this tread. Got some good money on these. Olakai. You can always tell the model is right there. It's always written out inside the shoe. don't know if you can see that, but it's the Nohea Moku right there inside. So you never really have to look up numbers because it's always written down as long as you can see the script inside. $56.97 on these shoes. Did take a while to sell, 115 days. But yeah, really good money. So with shoes, going to West Hills, California. With shoes, I always take some bubble wrap, and I used to put them in boxes. I no longer do that. I just bubble wrap them, put them in a poly mailer, and then away they go. Never had a complaint. Never had anyone say anything. No negative feedback for doing it this way. So it's the cheapest way right now for me to ship this. So that's how I'm doing it. And it beats having to store a bunch of boxes in my inventory. I think next time I'll get it to where I guess I could technically do this. If I pull up and screen share, I can show you guys. There's a good look on the inside, the Nohea Moku, and you can tell just by looking at it. I mean, it looks like it hasn't been worn much at all. So $120 shoes. Someone got them for $56, worn a few times. It's a great deal. And someone else thought so too. Definitely like a beachy loafer. And they're going to California, West Hills, California. The address is Capistrano. So imagine if I look that up, I'm going to see a nice place on the beach or somewhere close by. All right, my lowest sale of the weekend, a pair of Banana Republic pants. There's like this plaid pattern. I forget I can just share the screen, but let's go to that. Let's do that. It'd be a lot better than. We'll do this. Share screen. Let's see if I can do like a. Yeah, there we go. That works. You can kind of see. Let's flip it around here. There you go. Had a hole in the back. It's not going to show you for some reason. Let's go over there. You see that? Yeah. Had a hole in the back. $8.55 on these. Flawed items still sell. Someone is probably going to repair this, or they don't care about the hole in the back. I mean, those are two pretty small holes in the very back. So at this point, when I find a flawed item like that, it's just price it to move it. Under $10, just get it gone. Now, if it's depending on the item, but a pair of Banana Republic pants, those weren't flawed. I would have gotten 15 to 20 bucks. So then I priced it significantly lower. Great pattern too. It was a bummer to find that there. Man, we've got a lot of packages. I typically don't have so many packages going to like the corners of the country. I've got Oregon. I've got Maine. All the way out to California. California, obviously, is a common one. Just a lot of sales there. All right, next up. Got this nice Untuck It shirt. Let's do this. Yeah. There we go. Maybe that's better. Got this nice Untuck It shirt right there, brand new with tags. Picked up a lot of these, and I've just been selling them off. This one went for, what was it? $28.47 plus shipping, going to California as well, Hermosa Beach. And I've shipped so many of these, I don't need to weigh it. I know how much it weighs. Is it just me, or does it seem like shipping is slightly lower today? Maybe it's some of those orders that have gotten close. All right. Check out this guy. All right. Fun little find here. Mentioned the Goodwill bins earlier, and I picked up quite a bit of stuff at the bins the last time I was there. I don't typically go to the bins, but picked up probably 9 or 10 of these, all different NFL teams. They've got this. Hang on just a sec. Let me. New with tags, the Flintstones, Hanna-Barbera tag. I mean, 1994 there on the tag. This was the Patriots, the first one to go. Even had like a little stain. This was one of the only ones that had a little stain on it. Fred Flintstone, look at that. Patriots on the front. This would have been less than $1. This one sold for $13 and change. So not getting rich off this, but for something that's easy to throw in a poly mailer, you know, if I sell each of these for say $10 a piece on $10 spent, I end up making close to 100 in sales. Going to Brooklyn. Great place to be, Brooklyn, New York. All right. Bread and butter item all the way. Next up, this Royal Robbins. Pretty bland shirt. Royal Robbins is a brand that does pretty decent for me. This one was 9% wool. If you don't know Royal Robbins, you'll typically see that little hiker logo on somewhere on the back, typically, or on the bottom or the front or something. 9% wool, rest cotton. There's the Royal Robbins hit on the front pocket. And this sold, I believe, for $17, $18. Another bread and butter item, but this is how I make my business. A lot of bread and butters, a few home runs like that Rangers jersey that you saw that went for $70-something. And then a few little doubles in there with some of these shoe sales. Burlington, Mass. Let's go. Oh, that's not what I want to do. I don't want that. Let's do this. This was my big flip of the weekend. Most out of all my items was this one right here. This was a beautiful jacket. I got a couple of these Still in my closet. Not the same brand, but the same style. This Joseph A. Bank Harris Tweed Scottish wool blazer. I love selling these. You can find them in a lot of different brands, and that look right there is money. Joseph A. Bank is pretty decent. You can definitely find some higher end brands than that, but this one went for 76. What was it? 76.97. 76.93. Took 47 days to sell. And there's kind of like a look at the closer up pattern with the wooden buttons. And that's what you want to find right there, Harris Tweed. And you can see handwoven in Scotland. So Scottish wool. If you find blazers, you can find Scottish wool sweaters. If they're heavy, chunky knit sweaters, they go for really good money. It's just a really great find. Someone lives in a colder climate, wants a heavy wool layer, and you can make money on that. We'll go back to splitting here. 76.93. I have standardized pricing like on all of my items. So I've got a couple of different options for blazers, depending on whether it's 2 pounds or less or more than 2 pounds. I charge $9.95 shipping on this one. I'm going to put it in a poly mailer. Again, been doing this a while. Haven't had any issues this way. If I had more expensive, say $150, $200 blazer, I may package it up a little more. Maybe inside a box or something, but this will do. I know that's going to be 3 pounds, and even 3 pounds going to Maine, another Maine. So Augusta, Maine, $7.57 shipping. Not too bad. That's not what I want. How do I switch it? There we go. That's not what I want. Let's stop sharing. Okay. So that was my biggest flip of the weekend. I had a couple that came really close to that. 76, what did I say, 93? Going to Augusta, Maine. I don't remember how much I paid for that, but I remember where I got it, and it would have been like, it was Goodwill. It would have been like standard pricing, like $8 to $12 in that range for that blazer. So I made $60.96, subtract out the $8 to $12, and I'm looking at the upper 40s to the lower 50s in profit. Another Untuck It shirt going out for, this was actually, now we're into today's sales. So I've got 4 sales today. This was $20. I've got so many of those, it's just move them for 20 plus. And again, I ship these out all the time, so I know that they're 12 ounces or less. No need to weigh that. Going to Pennsylvania. I'm using 720p on the clearness. How is it? Is it kind of blurry? Can you see me all right? Can you see everything all right? My one reservation was, should I go to 1080p? Just to get a little clearer picture. Okay. 2 pairs of shoes and a pair of jeans going out today, aside from that Untuck It. Next up were these Specialized. See if I can find the logo there on the back. Specialized. That little squiggly S looking thing is Cycling Brand Specialized. I love finding this stuff. Going to Nixa, Missouri. Going to a neighbor up there. Cycling shoes sometimes come with the clips on the bottom. If they don't, it's not like it's a deal breaker, but it always helps if they come with it. I had these for a while, and so I was glad to see a buyer come in and purchase these. 28 bucks and change, and it took me 511 days to sell. That's quite some time. That's not what I'm looking for. I don't buy things to wait a year and a half to sell, but it's sold, and it's on its way to Nixa, Missouri. All right, down to my last two. Second pair of shoes today, Tommy Bahama loafers, retail arbitrage. Got them new with tags. I think I paid, I want to say these were $13. These sold for $32 and change this morning. Picked them up last August, so it's been a year. Is that right? Yep, 376 days to be exact. So again, I don't want to wait a year to sell something, but they're going out. Saunderstown, Rhode Island. A lot of Northeast vibes today. Nice. Thanks for telling me that, Allison. I appreciate that. At some point I may convert up to 1080 just to get it a little clear. But thank you for mentioning that. All right, my last order came in right before I pushed the live button, and it was a good one. It's my big order of the day, going to Reston, Virginia. I've got a friend that lives close to there. I picked up several of these new with tags. Retail arbitrage. I've still got a couple of these left, same style and color. These are the Polo Ralph Lauren Varick Slim Straight jeans. I think I would have paid $29 for these, and these sold for $69.97. It did take some time, but again, not a lot of people are buying jeans in the summer. And I did have a couple offers, lower offers on these earlier, and I have a price point I'm not going below. And they finally sold full price. I would have taken less than that. But Chris, thank you for your order. Took 108 days to sell. I would have said more than that, but I guess 3.5 months. And I'll show a quick picture here. That's what they look like right there. Polo Ralph Lauren, new with tags. You got to be careful with these Polo Ralph Lauren items. Sometimes the jeans and the shirts more specifically, can quickly tank if more and more sellers come in on the certain, like the exact same style and size and things. So you got to be careful when you're doing retail arbitrage that you have margin room for something like that to happen. And I've noticed that, especially in retail arbitrage, buyers, other sellers coming in, driving the price down, just trying to make the sale. And then what you thought you were going to get when you bought the item is not what you get. But these actually did sell for decent money. So I'll take it. $6.82 shipping. I had these at 79 last week, and I just dropped them down $10, just out of like, you know what, 69 is a good amount, and I bought them for 29. So again, I accept offers. They could have made an offer, but they paid full price, and I'll take that. Yeah, so those are my orders today. I think that's it. If there are no questions or anything, I think I'll end the live here. Allison, and for the others that popped in to say hello, thanks so much for watching my shipping today. I'm going to try and start doing this more and more regularly. So be looking for times when I go live and ship out, more specifically on Mondays, weekend orders, but there may be other times during the week where I pop in and ship out orders as well. But Mondays are definitely a good time, especially since I've got 3 days of shipping, and it's more fun to just do it with others. So thanks for saying hello, Allison, and sticking around. And for those that popped in, hope you all have a great one.